Welcome to the milk bar. 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 Welcome to the milk bar.
Welcome along to episode 616 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, Jon Wood joins us from Walks on the Chase to chat about the Nordic walking classes that are available out there. We'll be hearing about the latest from You Are My Sunshine. They have a brand new trail which is out there teasing the film. We'll hear from three of the cast about what's going on there. Christopher Commander joins us for a bit of a chat about Separated Shakespeare and how you can get involved in that. Ian Wills lets us know about Wills and the Willing, a fantastic music project that he has ongoing, a brand new song on the way, and an album which is absolutely well worth a listen. We'll be having a natter with him. On top of all of that, we'll be hearing from Chris White. He's going to let us know all about what's happening in his world with the wonderful teaching that he does normally across the globe in real life. He'll be doing it in the electronic form for a little while yet. We're hearing all about that. And the Pauline Quirk Academy is moving to a new location for when it reopens on the 17th. Julian Alcock updating us on what's going on there. That's all on the way on the show this week. The release of You Are My Sunshine feels like it's getting closer with the release of a brand new trail which is out there now. I'm joined by three of the team behind the film to tell us more about what's going on and where we're at the moment. Hello to you all.
Hello. Hey, morning.
All right, so first of all, let's work our way around and we'll have some introductions, please. Charlie rather than Charles first, I think, and Jonathan will come to you in a bit.
Hi there, my name's Charlie Clark and I play young Ethel in the film.
Okay, Charles?
I play the elder Joe in the film. I'd rather play the younger Joe, but they wouldn't do that. So,
Time and tide, etc. So we have to do these things. And Jonathan?
And yeah, I'm Jonathan, and I play confusingly John in the film.
So this is going to be intriguing. But first of all, Charles, we'll start with you when it comes to giving us a bit of a background to the film for those who haven't seen some of the interviews, because we've all chatted over the years. In fact, 3 years ago, I did my first piece with the younger pair of stars of the film itself.
I filmed my piece probably about going back nearly 2 years ago now. It's the story of two young people who meet in the 70s, two young lads who fall in love in a time when there was horrendous prejudice against that and affected him in his family life as well, and the strains he went through. And despite all that, how the love endured throughout the decades, and then we leap forward as they are present day at our ages, and how that love has still endured. It's still as fresh as it was back then, and it's a beautiful tale, and I was absolutely delighted to be part of it, and a very emotional one as well. Before we started playing the present day scenes, we were allowed to view two scenes that Steve and Jack had filmed. Mm-hmm. And we were just blown away by not only the story that they told, but the performances. And we just thought, this is going to be something special. And we couldn't wait to film our pieces and do as well as we did.
And you filmed out and about. We actually got together for a bit of a chat back in, 2 years ago, I think now, when you were doing the latter part of things, when we were up on Bar Beacon. And, it's seen all sorts of different sites across the Midlands and beyond, sort of bringing this story to life.
Yeah, it was, and that was going to be part of an amazingly emotional scene. We probably didn't tell you, but we did try twice. We did try to film up there a couple of months earlier. It was about a 50-knot gale and driving rain, so we gave up, we abandoned it, and came back a couple of months later. But yeah, that I know how that little bit fits together, and I mean it is going to be quite emotional.
Absolutely. And in Charlie's Ethel from the 70s, so you got some interesting fashions for your bit of the shoot.
Yeah, it was. I always love stepping into costumes for characters. I don't feel like I've truly created the character until I'm in their costume. But yeah, there was some nice, couple of nice costumes. I particularly liked my kind of evening kind of dress, where there's a scene where they all go to the local pub. for a bit of a night out, and I really liked that dress. Like, I was very tempted to ask if I could keep it, but no, it was really nice, and it was nice to, you know, step out of you know, playing something in the present day and play with a bit of a different era when it comes to costume and fashion.
Yeah, costume, fashion and attitude as well. And it must have been quite difficult, some of the lines that some of the characters were having to say, knowing that we are living in a much more sensible world these days.
Yeah, for sure. I think in terms of my career, playing Ethel with her very kind of hardened views of the time for a lot of people, before the world kind of rightfully changed to the world it is now, some of the views she had were very challenging to play, especially as somebody from the LGBT community, like having to say some of the words and play some of the emotions and the kind of negative attitude towards the gay community was definitely an acting challenge, and it brought out a lot of emotions. I've got quite an emotional scene with Jack, who plays my brother, and yeah, there were a couple of moments where we both were teetering on, like full on blubbering in some of the scenes, because it was just really hard to play. But I think from what we've seen so far in terms of cast, what we've been allowed to see, I think it plays for a very emotional, some very emotional scenes, as Charles has said.
Mm-hmm. And Jonathan, where does John sit in the timeline?
So John, he appears in the modern day scene. So he's the son of Ethel, of Charlie, and he's the nephew of Joe. So he kind of acts as a bit of a bridge between the two characters. So he sort of sees how much Joe wants to be a part of Ethel's life, and how she's kept these views over the years, and she's never truly accepted them as a couple. So he's sort of, I guess, trying to bring her into the 21st century and trying to get her to change her ways a little bit, but she's definitely kind of set in them for a lot of the film.
Mm-hmm. And with the way the whole story set up over these two timelines, not only is some awesome wallpaper included, as well as the costumes and the like as well, but it is a chance to learn from the actors who played the younger roles. And with Ethel, is that something that you were doing to bring the character to life in the modern day, Charlie?
Well, we got the advantage, I think, in many ways of kind of shooting our stuff first. So, but having met the actors, me, Jack and Steve all got to meet the actors that were playing our older selves. So there was a bit of discussion around kind of like, I know I spoke with Rosemary, who plays the older version of Ethel. We had conversations about our choices that we both felt were the correct ones to make for the character. But then obviously I kind of got to play them first. So I think maybe some of the younger roles then informed the older roles, as rightfully they should, because obviously they're a continuation. And like I said, from what I've seen, the actors playing our continuation roles in the modern day have done a fantastic job of keeping the choices that we've made. But it was definitely interesting to play a character that you knew was going to have an older incarnation of itself, mm-hmm. played by a different actor. That was definitely a first for me, so that was something I found really interesting.
And Charles, on the flip side of that, how did it work for you?
Very much the same, but obviously in reverse. It was and I say having met them and seen a couple of scenes from the 70s, part of the film. It was a fascinating thing to do, as Charles just described. You say, I've got to play the older version of that. I've got to look at his nuances, the way he talks. Obviously, you change over the decades, but I like to think that I kept some of that in of him and the way he is. But it was the same, a wonderful challenge, and I did like to play.
Absolutely, and a story which is going to cause a few tears to be shed when it does come to the big screen in the not too distant future now. And a timeline for that we've got the trail. Is anybody letting on to when we might see the full movie?
Late summer's being touted by Dave, but he likes to keep things very much close to his chest.
He does, and he absolutely is a perfectionist.
Sometimes,
yeah.
trying to get information out of it.
But it will happen. And as we saw with the same sort of many with the same team working on Sustain that was premiered 12 months ago and has recently been seen on Prime and various other platforms and the like due to the pandemic situation. This will hopefully get its opportunity to be seen on the big screen as a theatrical release, and certainly I know not only the effort but the talent that's gone into it will absolutely deserve that. And with Dave, who's already an award-winning writer and director, it is absolutely guaranteed to be top-notch. Well, the trailer is out there. We can find that on the You Are My Sunshine Facebook page. Check out the details there. Anywhere else we should be going to find out about some of the talent in the movie? Let's have Twitters, etc. from you all, please. Starting with Charlie.
Oh, my Twitter is @CharlieCActress. If you'd like to follow me,
That'd be lovely. We'll go Jonathan next.
And here's me frantically scrolling through my phone to try and find my Twitter.
I had to think about it as well.
It is @Jono_Butler.
It can be found that way. That'll do the
Nailed
job.
it.
There we go. And Charles?
I'm @CharlesO'Neill33.
Well, I say congratulations for the work that you've done so far. I know the post-production is going to be where more magic happens, because that's the way these teams work, but it is going to be a treat and certainly an emotional tale, but still one that will leave you feeling the importance of love and the way it knows no boundaries. For now, part of the cast of You Are My Sunshine, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure. Thanks. Bye.
Hollywood Stars is the brand new single from Wills and the Willing, and this is basically a massive supergroup. The Wills behind this particular band is Ian Wills, who joins me now for a chat. Hello, sir.
Hey, Jason, how are you doing?
I'm good. I trust we find you well, even though you're halfway across the world in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's sort of these are the challenges of life, keeping us all up and busy.
So tell us a bit about Hollywood Stars and the massive number of people you've got involved in this song.
Hollywood Stars is first of all, it's a remix from the album. I got my friend Rory to I sent him the song and he did a sort of a radio mix of the song.
Mm-hmm.
And Rory is probably, his early work's best known for Miss Sarajevo, U2's track. He engineered that, and then later on I've known Rory for about 17 years, and he did things that you might know, Patience and Amazing by George Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And then in recent years, he's done mixed the Ed Sheeran albums, and he got his 2 Grammys for mixing the first 2 Mumford & Son albums.
And so you're working with basically stars of an amazing calibre. Obviously, your work stands on its own, and the album itself has been so well received.
Yeah, I've been really lucky and blessed. The musicians and friends that all the people I reached out to help me on the album, all came in willingly and dedicated their time and their skills and their judgment about the songs as well, because the people don't just get involved unless the songs are good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You certainly don't get the names you've got involved unless the songs are good. So give us a bit of a rundown, because you got from everyone from A to Z, including Vinnie Jones somewhere along the way.
Yeah. So Vinnie's on the album. Hollywood Stars has got we've got Petr Cech on drums.
Mm-hmm.
That everybody knows Petr for his obviously playing football. Who else has we got? We've got Mick Talbot, Style Council, and Merton Parkers.
Yeah.
Adam, who's playing the pedal steel, had just done with White Denim and Mamelda May and Paolo Nutini. And Sean Zanocchi I've worked with for the best part of 20 years, and he is a part of the Willing. And I was really blessed on this album because Sean had literally just finished. We started the album, and then like all these things you start, and people go away and do their sort of other things. But Sean had just finished doing all the guitars for Roger Daltrey's solo album.
Yeah.
And so his plan is amazing.
But I mean, that just gives this massively full sound. And with these people, yourself, and the work that's gone into this, the music itself, I mean, just stands up, and it just sounds so good on the radio, doesn't it?
Do you know, I don't say it lightly, and you're right. It's such a thrill. Every time I hear a song from this album being played on the radio, it feels like a victory. and Hollywood Stars, it sounds so full, and the richness of the sentiment of the track and everything else. So no, I'm really happy with the way things are.
Okay, give us some background to the song then, and the reasons why it exists.
Well, Hollywood Stars is about that first love that you fall in love and you never can get it back, and then you recount that, you try to recapture those moments, and then you see that you see the line, I saw you last night in the wheel of our first car. It's that sort of sense of lost love.
And when you come down to writing that and sharing it, there's always probably a bit of an autobiographical bit in any song, but is that the way across the whole album with London Country?
Yeah, very, very much so. I mean, in every track you'll see not just a little smidgen of me. There's a huge bit of me left in each track on the album. And Hollywood Stars, actually, I was thinking about it was about my first love, really. In the sense of the character, that first trigger. I was thinking about that relationship and how easily I let it go, if that makes sense.
So what is happening next? Because normally we'd be talking all the tour dates. Have you been able to get anything settled?
Last year we was meant to play Glastonbury, and obviously COVID sort of put the kibosh on that, and everybody's regrouping their lives. And so we're working on that. And I think that the all being well, we will be doing some dates. We're certainly going to, I can't say too much at the moment, but in June, we are doing a couple of high profile things. And I can tell I've signed I've signed it in terms of not contractually, but I've given my word to doing a couple of very substantial gigs. And so we're just putting that together now, but we will be out. Certainly, providing everything stays the way it's looking, then we will be out in the autumn, that is for sure.
And how many of the willing are you able to bring along to these things? Because in a live gig, the number of people you got on this single in itself, you'll never fit all them on one stage unless it's the Albert Hall.
And so we've been looking at the dynamics, how to do that. And I think that there'll probably be 4 of us there.
And that'll bring that sound and the music to life in a way which you can only do live. But equally, the recorded work is phenomenal. The album is awesome. Give us all the details where people go to get their hands on this lot.
Okay, well, the album is out on iTunes, all the usual digital platforms. And you can obviously download it. You could, it's there. There's not a single there's no excuse not to find this album.
It's easy enough to do. And with the rest of your work and the stories that come out of the music industry, I mean, what experiences have you had over the years that maybe have shaped where you've got to now, do you think?
Well, I think from the early times when I stood up as a poet in the late 80s supporting the Stranglers to now, really, the underlying message is that if you believe in it, you continue to do it, and whatever resistance you might get. I made my first album when I was 42, so you can imagine the resistance I got there. Mm-hmm. But when Janice Long broke me on Radio 2, it was not because of anything else but the quality of the song. And I think my underlying message is if you believe in yourself and you believe in what you're doing musically, then the way the music industry is now at the moment in particular, it does lend itself to slightly better being able to independently put your music out. But at the same time, nobody can do anything singularly. You do need help and support of other people. And your music will find that support.
You've got some amazing friends in your little black book. We know that much. They're all part of the support that brings Wills and the Willing to our ears. And long may that continue. I'm fingers crossed when I get along to a gig, I hope, in the latter part of the year, because it will be absolutely awesome to hear the music live. And we will now take a listen to Hollywood Stars. But for now, Ian Wills, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason. Take care, mate.
About the time when we were like Hollywood stars, everything given to us both on a plate. We were the winning hand, the unbeatable royal straight. We were like Hollywood stars. chose to disconnect. Sometimes in life we ignore what we can accept. We were like Hollywood stars. We were like Hollywood stars. We were like Hollywood stars. I forgot to shine. So I kissed your lips and left you for another girl's bed. You can only change the words that before have never been said. We were like Hollywood stars. We were like Hollywood stars. We were like Hollywood stars. I forgot to shine. We were like Hollywood stars. We were like Hollywood stars. We were like Hollywood stars. I forgot to shine.
Chris White is a performance poet, an author, an artist, and hopefully will earn some money soon and can afford a razor. He joins me now for a bit of a chat. Hello.
Hello there, Jason. How you doing?
I'm all right. You okay?
Yes, thank you.
And,
Yes.
now,
Is it right? Barber's open in a couple of days. Was it tomorrow?
Tomorrow from where we're sitting now, yes.
Okay, excellent.
Do you mean you actually have somebody else shave your face? Is that how it normally works?
You not?
I don't even bother having somebody else shave my head anymore, to be fair. So
I thought everybody did that.
the rock and roll lifestyle that you performance poets lead, I don't know what's going on. So, I mean, you've done poetry, you've done writing, and you've done drawing.
Yes.
And lots more besides. And you've recently been doing some of your classes internationally, but online this time, rather than actually going to Qatar.
Oh, good grief, yes. I'm in recovery mode at the moment because, as you probably know, Qatar will be 2 hours ahead of us. So, yes, so it was 3 hours before our clocks changed. So I've been getting up at 4:30. This is commitment to the cause. I've been getting up at 4:30 for the past couple of weeks to talk to children in Qatar, which has had its own set of challenges. You know, well, firstly, getting up at 4:30.
Yeah, that's the difficult bit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. The first couple of times I did it, I forgot how dark it is at 4:30. So I'm there hunched over my camera as I am now talking to you. Go to read my first poem, realise I can't see the page because it's pitch black. Yeah,
because unfortunately, having had no income for nearly 12 months, you can't afford electricity mostly, can you?
Well, that's it. Yeah, around the candle. Yeah. Although, you know, being a writer, that's the normal state of affairs.
It's pretty much the way it goes. But when you are doing these classes, obviously it's something you do across the UK. I know that you visited libraries in Wolverhampton as well as everything else that you've done, and you know you're allowed out and stuff. But I mean, fingers crossed we'll start to see that all happening again. But it must be great being able to do some of this online. But it's even better when you're there in person, isn't it?
It is. If anything, doing these sessions online has just shown me how much I enjoy doing it to actual live people.
Yes.
You know, because it's all right. I mean, it's great to be able to connect with people via technology, but you cannot beat standing in front of an audience of people and actually seeing, you know, just getting the feedback from them and the laughter and it's not the same. I mean, the other morning, 60 kids in this Qatar school, which is like kind of herding cats, you know, you've got 60 little individual screens. But because some children are in school, some children are still at home isolating or can't get into school, or the schools are closed, or this, that, and the other, you can't actually see people's faces. You know, when you're on Google Teams Meet Zoom or whatever it is, and you've just got the silhouette.
Yeah.
You know,
you're working to silhouettes rather more than it's like the Milk Tray Man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so you're trying to kind of gauge how it's going by watching a cartoon silhouette or just initials of whoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got its own challenges.
But if anybody can do it, you can do it, and I know you'll have been wearing them. But I mean, normally at this point as well, we'd be talking about a book. Is there a new book out there too?
Ooh, well, how exciting! Not quite, but I mean, during this strange period we find ourselves in, where everything's ground to a halt, I mean, like the rest of us, thought we'll just put everything on ice and just get back. It's like that bit in the Avengers where, you know, the finger click and everything like stops for a couple of years, you know, and then we kind of carry on again. I was ready to just like, but just a couple of weeks ago, a book contract came riding over the horizon on a white horse, completely out of the blue. So yes, in a couple of months, I shall be having a proper chapter story, science fiction-y type book appearing, which is very exciting.
Has this emerged from your head yet, or is it still living in there?
No, it's been written for the past couple of years. It was one of those, when I was on tour, I can't remember what country it was, but I was out doing school visits during the day, back to the hotel, not an awful lot to do, so I would write a chapter of this book every evening in my hotel room, and then by the time you get back home, you've got a book.
Is that the tour where we nearly managed to bump into each other in UAE? Because we or was it?
It could have been, actually, yes.
Yeah, I can't remember when it was. We nearly actually met whilst out and about, didn't we?
We did. That could have been the UAE, yes. Oh, it seems a lifetime ago now, yes.
I'm sure that was the UAE, and it was going to be... I was in... You were in Abu Dhabi, and I was in Dubai. I think we were that close to being able to meet up and have a natter at some point.
So close, yeah. It'll happen again, I'm sure.
Yes, but there we go. So, I mean, the book's on the way, so we will talk when that's released. But what else is out there at the minute? Because there's always loads going on veggievampire.com.
There is. I've been using this time to try and keep my creative juices flowing. So I've been trying to get ideas for all sorts of things. Picture books. I got the paints out. I've been trying to
actual paints rather than that electronic stuff that you do.
Well, you know what? I like to do a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
If it's purely electronic, it kind of loses a bit of character about it.
But you could sell them for millions now. I've seen it on the news.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, perhaps I'm going about this all wrong.
Yeah, work on it.
But I like to do it kind of with the paints or the pen, and then kind of scan it into the computer, and then add a few digital flourishes at the end. But I don't think you can beat actually doing it with your own, own paintbrush or your own pen.
You like the squeaky pens?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that adds something to it, isn't it? It's art and sound at the same time, all coming together. I noticed you've got some friends behind you on board there. Who are the two people that we see here?
Just here?
Yes.
Yes, I'm glad you noticed. Well, this actually, with the kids in Qatar, we kind of wrote a poem together because it came from. I've got it here.
Right.
Now it started off. Would you know the phrase "getting on your goat"?
Yes, that is something which is annoying you.
Annoying, yeah. Now I kind of mentioned it to the kids in Qatar, and they were like, "Ooh, getting on your goat." They thought it physically meant getting on a goat.
Goat riding as opposed to horse riding.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if goat riding's a thing. It probably is in some countries. They probably like to ride goats. So it got us talking about the phrases like, can a goat get on your goat?
That's be a thing, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it? Now check this out. Here we go. So I illustrated it, and we came up with this, which I don't know. Well, see what you think. Can a lion lie on a lilo? Can a frog get a frog in her throat? Does a whale ever wail? Can a goat get on your goat? Does a sheep ever feel sheepish? Is a broken down toad towed away? Can a wolf down a sandwich? Does a yak ever yak all day? Do squirrels squirrel stuff away? Do badgers wear badgers anywhere? Do fish ever fish for compliments? If it's furless, is a bear bear? Does a crab ever wake up crabby? Can a swallow swallow a chocolate bar? Does a chicken run away because it's chicken? And can a tuna tune a guitar?
And that sort of nonsense makes him a living. It is fantastic stuff. It puts a smile on people's faces. It allows these kids that he works with in schools across the world and the library visits and whatever else, all sort of magical. And you can book this man to come and work with you. So, Chris, give us all the details of where we can find out you and your work and all the sort of mad nonsense like that.
Well, if you go on veggievampire.com, that's where I try and keep everybody updated on what's happening. There's @ChrisWhitePoet on the Twitter. And I try and put on there everything that's going on. So yeah, book me to come either in person or virtually like this. I'm happy to do either.
He's available now at certain times, but he's actually quite busy. Make sure you book early for Christmas or something. Chris White, as ever, always enjoyed to speak to you. We'll talk when the book's out, and thank you very much. See you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jason.
Walks on the Chase is a company whereby you can be led on a walk across the Chase by somebody who knows a thing or two about making sure they take you not only in the right direction, but you're walking in the right way too. Jon Wood joins me now to tell me more. Hello, sir.
Hi, Jason. You okay?
I'm good. I hope we find you well.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Great stuff. Now, tell us a bit about Walks on the Chase, because this is a very specific style of walking and involves some sticks too, for all users, not just those who maybe feel a little infirm.
Yeah, so we take out a number of people walking on Cannock Chase. We use Nordic walking poles, which we can get, they're either strapped onto your hand or they're what uses a core ledge. And the idea is that rather than just using the lower part of your body, you use the upper part of your body too. So if you think about going into the gym, it's rather like being on a cross trainer rather than being on a treadmill. So you're using about 40% more muscle mass in your upper body than you would be just by walking alone.
So this gives an overall feeling of great well-being, and walking, we know, is one of the best exercise. It's what we're designed for. It's low impact, but adding the upper body in too really does mean you're getting a proper workout.
Absolutely. And also, when you say about low impact, I mean, obviously you're using the upper body, which is taking the stress out of your legs as well. So people tend to find that their posture's improved, their overall body tone is improved. And we walk for, generally they're about an hour's workout, and that's what we actually call them. It's sort of turning your walk into a workout.
And when you are out there doing this, the poles are the most important piece of equipment, I suppose, apart from some good boots too. But other than that, it's just something which you can do pretty much all year, and the whole Nordic thing gives the game away. If you're Nordic, you're going to be walking through all sorts of weathers, and I should think nothing stops you, does it?
Absolutely. I mean, we walk whether it's rain, sunshine or snow. We even walk in the evenings with pop head torches on, and we're off on the chase at 7 o'clock in the middle of winter. We do an hour's workout in the evenings for those people who are working all day and are only able to get out in evenings or weekends.
And so it's one of those things which you've been able to do throughout lockdown as well, in part because you are outdoors and you are working in such a way as it's a great, well-ventilated way of doing it too. So it's been nicely low risk during these difficult times.
It has, unfortunately, with lockdown, because our organised sport has obviously been hit as well. We've had to limit numbers, so people have been able to get out on their own or been able to get out with a friend during the times when they've been allowed one-to-one contact outdoors. We started, so I took the business over in January last year after I left South Staffs. Unfortunately, I completed my training. I think it was on the 8th of March, having taken the business over on the 1st of February. And then on the 17th of March, we had to close the business down for the first lockdown. People I know were able to get out. But what we did at Walks was we managed to get as much content as we could online, so that people were able to carry on meeting up, chatting, and doing some keep fit type exercises in the comfort of their own homes or in the gardens with the help of the instructors who were helping them to do those things. We managed to get out in the summer. I think we got out on August the 1st, and we limited our groups to 5. So we were just walking as a rule of 6, which was through August through to October. November, we stopped again. December, we started, and January, we stopped. But we've been out walking now since the 29th of March when the restrictions were lifted. And we are starting to see our numbers return or even increase to what we had before.
Yeah, and it's a great form of exercise. And you say it's bringing that upper body in as well. And so that means if you can get up and walk and you want that little bit of a challenge to improve not only your walking style and posture, but also your endurance too, actually Nordic walking works for many people from most age groups.
Absolutely. We've got, so I think the youngest person that comes out with me is around about 21. And I've got people who are almost, or even are in their 80s walking.
Even older than you.
We run the different sessions. We've got people who are literally using it as their gym class, and we call them an energizer or a total body walks. We're using the hills of Cannock Chase to help to increase that intensity. So people are literally using that as their way of their keep fit. And we sort of focus not just on the physical well-being of people, but also the mental well-being. It's great being outdoors. They're chatting to people. We've got people who live on their own and are able to come out and enjoy being with other people and having to not have to worry about where they're walking because there's somebody there who's trained to actually lead the walk and have the directions and the maps. And we've just got a whole range of different people who have, like myself, have enjoyed doing exercise or sport for a number of years, but unfortunately with the when you get injured or you get muscle tensions and things, suddenly you feel like you've got an injury. With Nordic walking, you're able to walk through that because the injuries become less and less because the impact is so minimal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not pushing yourself unless you choose to. You can still be part of it, and it could well be that there's a class which says yes, we're going to walk up a slope, but everywhere else you could well be running on the flat or just a slight incline, allowing you to be able to get that level that you're looking for. And this is again something you can talk through. And when it's an organised walk like this with somebody who's qualified in the work that you're doing, you know that you've got the confidence to be able to do it and find the level you need just by having that conversation.
Yeah, well, I mean, before you're allowed to come out and walk with a group, then we put through what's called a power of poles session. So this is an hour and a half where you probably walk for about 45 minutes, but you learn the technique. We can assess your fitness. Everybody goes through what's called a Part Q, which is a physical assessment readiness questionnaire. So there's a number of questions around your health. We then take you out, we assess your level, and then we discuss with you which classes would be best for you to start with. But we see many people that start on the lower level classes. As they improve and as they join us on more walks, then they may step up to a more intensive class. So, we have a whole range of different things that are just out there for a walk and a talk or a catch up and a chat, all the way through to a physical workout that when you get back to the car park to get in your car, you're absolutely shattered.
So it is your choice. There are options out there. So where do we go to find out more information about the classes that are on offer and also those different levels of access?
So we've got a website, which is walksonthechase.co.uk. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn. So everyone, if you just put Walks in the Chase into a browser, then we should come up. And if there's any details you need, then obviously just get in touch and we have a conversation before you come out as well.
So Walks on the Chase is what we're looking for. Sticker.co.uk on it if you want to go direct there, or find out what's happening on the socials where you can see more of what happens on a regular basis. Before you know it, there'll be a TikTok too, I'm sure of it, but there we go. Jon Wood of Walks on the Chase, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Jason. Cheers.
PQA in Wolverhampton returns in real life and with a brand new venue on the 17th of April. Principal Julian Alcock tells me more now. Hello, sir.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, and good to have you back. And it was about this time last year we started having a chat about what you were able to do online and the magic that has been happening there over the last 12 months. You've had a few forays into real life, but you've got an awful lot going on at PQA Wolverhampton.
We have indeed. I mean, it's been a traumatic year. We've probably been live face to face for 2 months out of the last 12.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it was either providing video lessons or trying to do online classes, which are fantastic. I mean, the ability to do that, the technology to do it is incredible, but it's not the same. You know, it really isn't. And for us to be able to get back face to face with the kids in a classroom and teach is just amazing. We cannot wait.
And you're doing that with a bigger venue.
We are. We've moved from our original venue. We're now going to Wolverhampton Grammar School. We've got incredible facilities there, a huge hall for our drama classes and for assemblies and the like. We've got a fantastic dance suite, so the kids for the first time in a very long time are going to be able to be taught with proper mirrored dance suite and sprung floor, which is obviously going to make a huge difference to that. And then 2 fantastic classrooms for our film base and for our poppets, which are our 4 to 5 year olds.
So great to be back, great to have these new facilities and somewhere you get to explore, but that's allowing for social distancing as well as is required.
Absolutely. I mean, we hope it's only going to be for 5 weeks now, but we've still got to, for the short term at least, have masks for the older kids as they move around the class. We've got to have some social distancing within the groups, keep them in bubbles of 15. And obviously, if you're in a massive hall, that's quite easy. You stick one lot at one end and one lot at the other, and you stand in the middle, and it's great. We've had difficulties in the past where we're in small rooms, and you've actually got to have them in 2 different classrooms, and your teacher has to move between the 2 with an assistant helping out. So to be able to have this space is incredible, and it's an inspiring place. The grammar school, they're fantastic. Their record speaks for itself, doesn't it? And to be able to work in that facility is just incredible.
And parking's easier too.
Parking's certainly a little bit easier. There's plenty of parking. There's that's going to be amazing right outside, and it gives us, as I say, so many opportunities to just spread out. There's even a little outdoor shade sail in the playground that I'm sure we can adapt into a little performance space for them to do little assemblies and things. It's going to be fantastic. Well, hopefully come the better weather anyway.
Absolutely, yeah, fingers crossed. But the other thing is, though, as well, I mean, you've already talked about the film groups. I can see this being almost a backdrop similar to Hogwarts if you need to use it for film.
Absolutely, yeah. There's bits of the place are just amazing to film around, and they're going to look so good on camera. We just can't wait to start exploring it. We're going to pop in fact, tomorrow to go and have a good look around, taking the film teacher with us to do to check it all out and work out some ideas for filming as soon as we get going. You know, because we've got so much coming up, or so much planned anyway. The Morning Academy are going to be off to the West End in October, so we hit the ground very, very quickly with rehearsals for that.
Absolutely. And so this is something that's special that PQA offers. It gives you that opportunity to go places, to do things, to be part of bigger shows. Being a number of schools across the UK has really made a massive difference to the sort of resources you have behind you. And Pauline Quirk herself absolutely loves being part of this, doesn't she?
She does. I mean, last night and today, we're having our National Film Festival, which is an online one this year. But all of the videos, Pauline's introducing all of the films. There's something like 75, 80 films showing, all online. So parents get a link to a document that's got all the relevant links in. This morning is the 6 to 9 year old film groups. So they're all age appropriate. So you can log on, you know what you're going to get. This afternoon will be the blue group, who are the sort of middle 10 to 12s, and then this evening and yesterday evening it's for the older kids, so they that explore different issues that maybe the little ones don't want to see. So it's age graded, and there are these specialist links that parents can use to go and watch the films.
Yeah, and I think as well with the way the group works, it not only builds confidence, it helps those who may well be working in the arts later on get a feel for what it is like. But equally, with Pauline Quirk being a sort of mentor over the whole of these sets of groups as well, she certainly has a career to aspire to, doesn't she?
Absolutely, she's done some amazing stuff over the years, and actually, I mean, she. A lot of her straight roles are very much underappreciated. You look at things like Broadchurch and that. She was a fantastic actress. She's effectively retired now, and is looking after the academies as her primary thing. But she was a phenomenal actress, not just comedic but straight roles as well.
But I mean, the comedy I think is probably sometimes harder to do than some of the meaningful stuff. It's comedy. It's a real fuel for life, isn't it? If it wasn't for the likes of the sort of shows that she's been involved in over the years that have been seen by millions upon millions of people, we wouldn't have that sort of happy place that we get to have, and it is hitting that happy that counts.
Well, yeah, I mean, we did comedy with the kids last term, albeit online, but we were doing comedy stand-up with them, so getting them to perform to the camera and whatever. And they found that they all thought it was going to be great, go in, tell a joke, and there you go. And they found it so hard because it's really, really hard to do. And, it's a vastly underappreciated part of the profession. And to be honest, the whole profession's been treated appallingly badly over the last 12 months. But, everybody's keen to watch television and watch films and all that. They forget that the people that are being ignored are the ones who are actually producing all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and fingers crossed we can see a resurgence in the arts and a lot of great new blood coming through and bringing to life their potential when it's all sort of been nurtured through the likes of PQA. So you've got, I'd say, loads of new teachers. We could talk for days about all the great stuff that you've got going on down there, but you've got new teachers who've been joining you over the last 12 months as well, because you've kind of expanded whilst you've been online, and that's sort of given you an opportunity to do that. And there's the great new bigger facility. So if there are kids out there who want to get involved, you've already mentioned the fact that it goes from 3 upwards. So give us the full age ranges and how it works.
Right, well, we have our Poppet section, which is 4 to 5 year olds, although we will take them a little bit younger if they're capable of doing it. We then have the main academy, which is for 6 to 18 year olds. So they can stay through effectively until they leave school. And as part of that, we provide backup of assistance with applying for university or drama school. We've got teachers who are very experienced. One of our newer teachers, he joined us in September, Julian Holt, a very, very accomplished actor, came to us directly from the Royal Shakespeare Company and wasn't working because of lockdown, so it came to us and has been with us ever since. And the difference he has made with the student is phenomenal. Somebody of such vast experience and with such an amazing reputation, just to be able to teach them. We're not a bunch of people who are vaguely associated with performing arts. The drama teacher is from the Royal Shakespeare Company. Our musical theatre teacher has just completed a master's in that and produces no end of shows. Our film teacher, one of his university projects was submitted for a student Oscar. So we have a phenomenal level of teaching, and it certainly reflects in the level of performance at things such as the West End show that's coming up.
So if anybody listening, or if anyone who has kids who are listening who might be interested in getting involved, how do they take part?
Very simply, you can go to our website, www.pqacademy, only one A, pqacademy.com. On there, there's a thing that says request a brochure. You just click on that or fill in your details. A, they send you a brochure, and B, I give you a call and we arrange a free session to come along and try it out. And
because of the scale that you're working on, this keeps the costs down for everybody as well. And it's a nice, great way of not only looking after the kids on a Saturday morning so you can get the shopping done and have a life, but also you get to get them educated and involved in something which is going to be a brilliant confidence boost, even if they don't end up on EastEnders.
Well, that's the big thing. I mean, for of 120 odd kids that we can have in the academy, in fact, slightly more than that, we probably one will actually go on to work in the profession, 1 or 2. The rest of them will benefit hugely, though. You look at so many professions that having these skills feeds into. I'm an ex-lawyer, standing up in court is theatre. That's what it's about. So many jobs today, even if you work in a shop, standing in front of people and talking to them has a theatrical aspect to it. It covers such a massive range, and the confidence gained is so useful in all spheres of life.
Give us that web address again.
It's www.pqacademy.com, or you can give me a call on 07838 115152, and that's directly to me, and we can have a chat and I can get you booked in.
Julian Alcock, Principal of Wolverhampton's Pauline Quirk Academy, PQA. Thank you for joining us.
No worries at all, mate. Nice to talk to you.
When he's not on stage, when he's not doing magic, when he's not doing his hair, he is often involved in the likes of Separated Shakespeare. His name is Chris Commander, and he's with me now. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Now, we did various billing for Separated Shakespeare when we were chatting, because we had a series of natters because there was so much going on for you during lockdown. And things are starting to ease, but Separated Shakespeare is still a thing with lots of brilliant work online.
Thank you. That's so it started as sort of one of those projects, as a creative project that has come out throughout lockdown and the C word. And the idea behind it, the ideal of Separated Shakespeare, was that you or I, or like anyone around the world, could work on a piece, a scene or a monologue, send it to me, I'd edit it together, and it would sort of give the impression that we were doing a scene together. So we would have, we'd have a rehearsal. They'd send me a scene that they wanted to do, and I would do a cutting, and then we'd have a rehearsal, and then we would film our bits individually, and then they'd be spliced together in a nice little package called Separated Shakespeare.
And that is the magic of technology. It allows you to get away with all sorts of things you wouldn't have been able to do previously.
All the jiggery pokery that I can do.
Yeah, but just sending files across the world. I mean, it's in the olden days, it'd have been a tape in the post eventually. Yes. But now it's moments. In fact, you can even do some stuff live together and sort of stick it together afterwards.
Yeah. So it was an odd thing, because obviously the medium of this, whatever online conversation, Zoom, whatever, Google Hangouts. Do people still use Google Hangouts?
I think they're the same people who use MySpace, yeah.
It was a toss-up in my brain, because part of me wants to put out quality stuff, and so obviously the recording on these types of things is like a screen recording, so it's not fully like what I would want it to be. I'd want it to be proper, like pro camera stuff, which would be great. But obviously, everyone's dealing with the technology that they have when they have files sent to me, when they send their files to me. So I didn't know how I was going to do it. So a couple of them, it's still kind of a work in progress of what's the best way to do it. Deciding to do rehearsals is a big thing. So the actors know... Well, because the other thing is, I didn't necessarily want it just to be me. The idea was to have a catalogue of scenes that people all around the world could pick from and be like, oh, I would like to work with this person, or I like this person's performance, or I like Chris's performance, I like Sarah's performance. And then they could say, I want to do the scene with that person. So I could send them like my half of the scene, and then they could do that scene with me if they wanted to.
And react. And if it is done like that as well, it allows them to record it in 4K, and and then you can match it up with an equivalent recording. Stick the two together. Lighting is a nightmare, but other than that, you've got the opportunity to really create something big.
I mean, it certainly had potential at the time, and I still think it does. I think it's got. I think we're all starved for a bit of creative gear turning.
Well, what happens is when we are back to something like normal, near normal, new normal, whatever normal is going to be going forward, once we've further eased from our restraints from lockdown, there is still the place for more stuff on screen, and all this will have done, it have meant that we have value in what we see on script. We don't expect it for nothing. We realise that people still have to be paid when it's pre-recorded. We understand that because we've had to pay our Netflix subscription for the last 12 months.
Right. Yeah, it's something that I started as a passion project that had legs at the time, and I still think has legs that can walk. These are bad metaphors. I apologize.
But how many Separated Shakespeares are out there at the minute already?
So there's 4, because I started it when no one was interested in it. So I thought that I would put up a few monologues. So there's 4 monologues up there of me doing stuff. So there's Hamlet, Macbeth, Much Ado, Henry V, and the idea was just to gain interest. And then there's a couple scenes, the 3 scenes out there so far, one from Twelfth Night, one from As You Like It, and one from Measure for Measure. And another one on the way. I've just sent a script off to someone for a scene in Twelfth Night, actually, weirdly enough. So it's open to anyone. If you haven't worked on Shakespeare before and you want to give it a shot, it's just a scene. I would suggest come and do it and have a rehearsal with me because I also teach Shakespeare. So, which is another facet of Separated Shakespeare, which is starting soon. I'm going to start opening up my workshops, which are usually for students. I'm going to open it up to the general public because I realize that that's something that everyone should have at least a bit of Shakespeare and acting training. So it's teaching performance through Shakespeare, really. That's what it is.
Well, so normally, I mean, when we spoke last year, you would have been off in the US for a little while, and I can't necessarily see your usual escapades across the water taking place this year in its normal form, although who knows yet, anything could happen. 2 countries, a lot of vaccines out there. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely as things stand. So it'll be 2022 by the time you're able to do your normal do.
Yes, it was a huge thing because usually around this time it's all the budget meetings that I have to go to that are all like, can we feasibly bring Chris across? Do we have the funds for it? Not saying I'm that expensive, but like, how do we budget for it? Because there are grants involved, and so what do we ask for? And yes. It is not likely. I have been offered another job for the summer, which is incredibly exciting, which I can't tell you about yet.
Well, we will talk about that when it's close to happening and paperwork has been signed, everything's on the dotted line. We will no doubt have the opportunity to do that. But it's about having these projects and it's keeping that creativity going. And I know you like to share your work. I say that the training and teaching that you do, the number of times you've appeared on various stages across the world, that is all part of the makeup that is Chris Commander. And then the magic that runs with it, don't you'll smudge the makeup, be careful. But, there's a lot going on and that is all reflected in the other things that you do online as well. So where do we go for all of this? How do people find out, get in touch, and what do they do?
Okay, so if you search Christopher Commander on YouTube, all the Separated Shakespeare is there in a lovely condensed package in the form of a playlist, and you can just binge watch the whole thing. The added bonus of the monologues, which people are liking apparently, are the bloopers that go along with it. Which is just me going insane. It's just a lone actor alone with his ever-failing wits. So you can also watch the bloopers of me go. I'll say the Henry V ones that I did because it was a whole year since I'd done one of them. They're particularly insane, so I'd say go check those out. So you can find Separated Shakespeare in its entirety on my YouTube channel, Christopher Commander. And if you want to get in touch, you can find me on the socials. You can find me on Instagram, also at Christopher Commander. And you can find me on Facebook, also at Christopher Commander. and get in touch, have a natter with me, and we can talk about it. And if there is people out there who are curious about Shakespeare, or even better, if there are people out there who hate Shakespeare because of how it was taught in school, come to me and I will right a wrong.
You can make sure it's a lot better than it should be. And you never know. I'm expecting at some point the TikTok 1 minute Shakespeare soirees that you could be having too. I think that could be a thing.
I had thought about the idea of doing a silly 60-second
Shakespeare short, yeah.
Plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd already started to write one about Romeo and Juliet, so it's funny you should say that. So maybe that's a sign. Maybe I have to now.
I think you should. That'd be absolutely amazing. Well, your work is always absolutely amazing. That is how it goes. Give us those socials again and the details of how we find you on YouTube. And spell things for us.
Search me on all platforms for Christopher Commander. So that's Christopher.
Yeah, we'll assume we can do that one, yeah.
And Commander is how it's spelled in the dictionary, COMMANDER.
As simple as that. Chris, great to talk to you. Thank you as ever. And we look forward to seeing you in real life in the not too distant future.
That would be lovely. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Back with episode 617 next week. I hope to have you along then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.